Fear the Walking Dead Episode 3, The Dog. This was definitely the best episode so far, and I'm pretty sure we're at the halfway mark, or almost at the halfway mark. I think we only have like 8 episodes. But this was definitely an amazing episode because we got to see like the craziness sort of branching off from the end of the last episode. We got to see a lot of the, like the first swell kind of all the madness with the riot, and then we got to see the hospital and stuff, which was really awesome because it's like, oh, Mama Salazar, and I'm gonna pretty much just, it's gonna be Papa Salazar, Mama Salazar, and Daughter Salazar because I can't remember any of their names because they only said like the mother and the daughter's name at the very end of the episode, and they said the dad's name like maybe 2 or 3 times, and it was kind of interesting. They don't have like an actual introduction from the last episode. It's just that Travis is like, oh, these, he just says their names. Unless they did do that and I just forgot from the last episode. But, she gets hurt, the mother, and they go to the hospital, and the first thing that happens is it's just messed up. It's like, keep on moving because the hospital's crazy. You got zombies in there, and it's like you get one of two things. Either, really you get three things. You get people, zombies, and people about to become zombies. And in most cases, the first category, which is just people, typically ends up falling into the third category, which means everyone in a hospital is just going to end up becoming a zombie anyway, except for Rick, of course, because we know that, best friends save lives, and then, bang your wife. But yeah, I just thought that was pretty cool. We got to see some of my favorite moments that were kind of glossed over, in the initial series and in the comic books as well. It's all the sort of same stuff, and it's like, hey, they show this time skip, and that's pretty much it. We had our couple of flashbacks from The Walking Dead where we got to see like the bombing and stuff, which is of course other side of the country anyway, but we got to see the bombing, and we got like the little glimpses initially when Rick was under, and they got the flashback with Shane when everything was going crazy and he tried to wake him up and it just didn't work. So we get to see all the really cool stuff that we want to see, and we got to see the craziness start up. We got to see the hospital, like the initial moments of hospitals where the dead people, anyone who's sick, power is going down, they die, and then boom, they're zombies minutes later. And then we have the military out there, at this point it's just like the high-end, like the SWAT teams and stuff like that, the riot police coming in and dealing with stuff. And it's like, alright, all this craziness is going down. There's riots and stuff. We have kind of Team A and Team B, which is like our really big group, which is the Salazar family and Travis and his ex-wife and his son. And then we have like Group B, which is Madison, Alicia, and Nick, just in the house waiting for Travis to come back. And it was really good. Like, there were a ton of great character moments. And my favorite, honestly, I think all of my favorite moments have come from the father of the Salazar family, because not only is he like really like in the same mindset that I think everyone watching the show is, where it's like, you gotta learn this stuff, you have to be strong and things like that, but at the same time he lets that push him to the point where he's stubborn, which is kind of just why it works. Like, he has the good dynamic of, yeah, we need to teach this kid how to use a shotgun, and this is, these are like birdshot type slugs, and these are buck type slugs to actually stop stuff. And, he goes up against Travis, where it's like, who has, honestly, the very typical reaction of, what the hell are you doing, showing my kid how to use a gun in a crazy apocalypse situation, which is literally every series ever. I mean, they had it sort of balanced because, you have Madison as well as Travis, and they're both like the parental main characters, so she didn't care. So she had a cool reaction, but he was, it was like his actual kid, so I still count it as like the cliche reaction we always see, where it's like, you got freaking zombies walking around and stuff. You just teach a kid how to use a gun or something. But it's always like the parent of the child is like, what are you doing? And they freak out and stuff. So he had that reaction, and I was like, that's kind of annoying because you always see it all the time. But, he has that side of him where they are like, opposite sides of the same coin, really. And eventually they'll see that once things really go insane, it's all going to come together. Like, you have to be good, but you also have to be a bit pessimistic, which the father definitely was. The Salazar father, definitely pessimistic. It's like, he lied about, even having any more family. It was like, once they leave, we'll be good. I'll go get a doctor, which was really stupid. Like, that was the thing where he knew that stuff was crazy, and he understood that, like, everything is just crappy. Like, good people are the first ones to die. That was, like, my favorite line in the whole episode. I was like, that's just an amazing line for his character. He had the part where Madison and Travis were at the fence with their neighbor when she was a zombie, who had the nicest zombie teeth ever. And Travis convinces Madison to walk away, and he's like, weak. And I was like, every time he said something, I was like, I just really like this character. But he also just had a lot of different issues where, like, him saying, once they're gone, we'll be fine, because I'm just going to go get a doctor, even though the freaking hospitals were all destroyed. I'm just going to walk and get a doctor, no big deal, it'll be fine. And it's like, how can he have that thought in his head, but have at the same time be like, it's like at the end of the episode, when the military even comes in, he's like, it's already too late. Like, how can he have these same thoughts and, somehow be like, it's too late, but I can still make it work somehow? So that's what makes him very interesting, because he makes a lot of sense. Like, we have to be tough. Good people are the first ones to go and stuff like that. But at the same time, he thinks he's stronger than he really is, especially in the face of something that he doesn't understand. He just assumes, yeah, I can make it work, no big deal. But he really doesn't know everything about the situation. So, I'm loving his character so far. They gave him a really great focus. But everyone, I think, well, not everyone, but a lot of different characters had some good moments. Like, his daughter had, like, their whole family, I think, had a really interesting dynamic when they had their first argument. And his daughter's like, well, why don't we go with them? And he's saying, like, we should stick together and just us. They aren't family. And her mother's kind of agreeing with him, like, he's protected us all this time. And, we've been in worse situations, which they haven't. And it's like, we lived through all that. We're totally fine. We're here right now. So I love the dynamic that they have where she's the one who is kind of leaning towards, or excuse me, being kind of similar to Travis as far as ideals. Like, people just have to band together, whether they're family or not and stuff. And it was just really cool to see him have this dynamic where, like I said, he realizes how crappy things are. He's like ultra pessimistic, like, nope, everything sucks, this character is weak, good people are the first ones that are gonna die, they're just gonna get us killed, is basically what he was thinking. And yet he doesn't at all even remotely consider the concept of, strength in numbers at all. It's just like, it's me, you, and your mother, and that's all there is to it, even though your mother has, like, a completely busted up leg since it's been crushed. And the nurse, the only person who even has some idea of how to help her is going away. Who gives a crap about her? I'll just find someone else because I'm amazing. So their whole dynamic is actually pretty interesting. They're all kind of stuck together now since the military did come in, and we don't have, that separation of the characters anymore anyway. But I'm still very curious to see how they interact with the rest of the characters, because, especially the father, he's the one who's really got the most to show at this point, because his daughter's like, well, let's just band together with them. They helped us, we've helped them, let's just stick together. And his wife is kind of on the same side as him, but she's, of course, since she has, like, the broken ankle and stuff, she's not going to be walking around saying all that stuff, and she'd probably be nicer about it anyway. But it should be interesting to see how they really blend in with the rest of the characters, and how he's able to convince Travis, like, hey, we have to be a bit tougher, and also how Travis can convince him, like, we don't need to be as tough and think we can just, go out and do things and no big deal. Because he did come in this episode, and he saved Travis with the shotgun. It was just like, he took the shotgun and was just like, move, and he just shot the zombie in the face, which is a really cool scene. I was confused at first when he shot him in the head. I'm like, he's so close. How in the world did that not just, blow the zombie's head off? And initially what I thought was happening was, like, the body was still moving after he, like, shot the head off. It was just having, like, residual, movements. But it was still alive, and I that's why I kind of love the scene where he was talking with Chris, and he was like, this is shotgun shells, and then these are, like, regular, buck shotgun shells. Because I'm like, how did he use a shotgun and all that happened was the pellets just hit it? I mean, he was, like, maybe 3 feet away, I was very confused. I'm like, I might not know guns, but I know a shotgun is just gonna destroy you if you're that close. And then he explained it was basically like the really like specifically designed for scattershot bird pellets, so that or bird slugs, so that it can hit a lot of different things at once, and it has a much weaker impact, especially at a broader range. So I actually love that scene because it explains something that didn't make any sense at first, and I didn't really pay too much attention to the picture on the shotgun shells when it first happened because it was like in a split second, and I also didn't realize that they did that with shotgun shells, so I never knew that. But I did enjoy that scene. I loved the scene with Alicia when she was like trapped in the little maze, which definitely came into play just like I thought it would, because when they leave their house, which I thought was really stupid to be totally honest. Like, first off, Nick let the dog in. Terrible idea. Like, zombie apocalypse or not, this dog might have rabies. I don't give a crap. But in a zombie apocalypse with everything they've seen, that's way too risky. Like, it was way too risky to do that. And then it's like, we hear some random noises. Let's leave our house and go next door. I know Nick did mention, like, hey, we need a gun, but that was a bit much. I was like, that's a little too risky to just leave your house and go into like your neighbor's house and just try to find a gun or something. So that I thought was stupid too, even though it did lead to them actually finding the gun. It was just a really bad moment to me. I was like, that's a bad idea. And then as soon as they went over the fence, I'm like, what the heck is this maze looking thing that they're running through? And of course, when Alicia has to go get the shells, she almost gets taken down by their neighbor Susan, who, like I said, has like the greatest zombie teeth ever. But that was just like a great little moment, and she got to finally. They told her like just what's happening, and Nick was. I love that Nick was the one to do it because he was like, he's talking to his mom like we should just tell her because zombies, it's freaking zombies. I know they have. Yeah, you can have all the hopes you want to, but even if things went exactly back to how they were, you would still have to explain to her what happened, and so she did realize what happened with her boyfriend and everything. And she also elbowed Chris like right in the nose. I was like, why is she flipping out on him like that? Like, he's obviously trying to help her over the fence, and she was just flipping out the whole time. And then she elbows him right in the nose. I was like, what the heck is her problem? So I was kind of on Chris's side when he got up and he was like super pissed and even pushed his dad. I was like, I kind of get that because he's like, obviously he's just trying to get her off the fence because he knows that this random woman is trying to get his like stepsister. And he's like, it was just so funny. Like, he's obviously trying to help, and she's just like freaking out. Even when they're on the ground, she's like wriggling and junky. She just elbows him. I'm like, man, that's kind of messed up. He was just trying to freaking help. But I did enjoy that scene because it was kind of funny, and I was just like, it was funny how much on his side I was during that scene. I just started laughing, like, man, she just seemed so mad. He was trying to help. But I did enjoy that, like, she finally got to realize what was happening after a great game of Monopoly, which is my favorite board game. But even that can't stop the zombie apocalypse, as fun as it is. And then we have a ton of other really interesting moments with the characters where mostly they kind of deal with themselves now that they know, they've experienced even more so what's happening. And I think more than anyone, Madison had this, like when she wanted to deal with her neighbor and she wanted to kind of feel like she needed to be stronger and wanted to have this moment where she took care of her neighbor Susan so that her husband didn't come back, which he totally did, and thank goodness he didn't actually get killed. I'm like, that would have been devastating, and it seemed like that's where it was going, which I guess kind of would have been cliche, but it still would have been good, where if it was like, Travis kind of made that mistake, and it's like, well, now their other neighbor is dead as well, and Travis could have let Madison, kill Susan, or officially kill Susan, and her husband would have still been alive, but it didn't go that way. And instead, we got the awesome twist of the military coming in, which I didn't even remotely think of, which is just stupid, honestly. But the military comes in, which was really great, because that's, like when we got the bombings in The Walking Dead initially, it's like, alright, military did come in, but they obviously failed. And now we get to see when the military was like the great and powerful military. They came in, they took out zombies, they checked people, they quarantine other people. They did like the X thing where they put I forgot what that stands for, but I've seen it before. It was actually when I saw the guy do that and he sprayed it, and I thought he was just putting an X, like, people died in this house, but then he was putting, like, the numbers down. They actually had that in the Walking Dead video games, the Telltale games. And like I said, I can't remember what it was for. It was something like how many people lived in the house. Like, you put a number for each one. It's like how many people lived here, how many died, how many were infected initially, I believe. And then, like, how many possibly missing, or how many were quarantined or something like that. So you put four numbers and they mean four separate things. So I thought it was just cool seeing that, because I was like, oh, I remember that from the game. But this was a great episode. I know I've been talking a super long time for this one, but this is definitely a great episode. Had a lot of really great moments. Love the father of the Salazar family. He's pessimistic in a smart way, and then he's stubborn in a really dumb way. Like, he's just gonna find a doctor. That just, like, that's my greatest example, because it's like, how can you, like, just, see, you have these ideas and then be like, I'm gonna go get a doctor, no big deal. So that's just what I keep thinking of with him. But I love the character moments. I'm really excited to see where these next couple episodes go. I'm not sure if it's gonna really escalate again within the next couple of days, since they have the military presence in. But it did take one solid day, and the military knew that things were kind of going down. And as the father said at the end, of course we know it's already too late, but the interesting thing is seeing how bad it gets when the military falls. What happens, what weapons are they going to take from the military personnel that die off? What, skills are they going to learn before the military kind of fades to black and just either abandons them or just gets overrun by zombies? And where are they going to end up going next? Because I'm pretty sure that's where this first season is going to end. It's going to be like, all right, we leave, and then we aren't really going to know where they're going to end up in season 2. But love this episode, of course. I want to know what you guys thought about it, so please comment below. Let me know your favorite parts, your least favorite parts. And I definitely want to know, between our two sort of our two father figures, in the series so far, who do you side with? Because we of course have Travis, who is like the much nicer person. He does mention for like a quick second, they glance over it. It has to be a really big deal, but he mentions, like, when Chris is with the father Salazar, he mentions when he's talking to Madison, like, how I feel about guns. So I feel like admittedly, regardless of what the reason is, it was still a cliche response. His response has to be from something that happened in his past. Like, someone was shot, or, by a gun, or so he knew someone that was just killed from a gunshot or something. So he has this sort of pacifist style of, ideals in this situation. And of course, the stuff with the neighbor, I think anyone could understand, not wanting to, like, burn the body, because it's like he already saw the guy die. He's like, he doesn't want to burn the body of his neighbor, who was his friend. So that's not that big of a deal to me. But, he's obviously on, like, the non-violent side of things for now. And then we have, Father Salazar, who's like, just shoot and kill everything. Like, this is bad, destroy it, burn bodies, which did make a lot of sense. He didn't technically know, but that is what they used to do. If there was a poison or whatever, you burn the body, the virus can't spread. So, he had some really great ideas, but two very different sides. Of course, it's hard not to instantly be against Travis, because we know where things are going. But if you were in that mindset, what would you guys choose? Because honestly, I would be like Salazar. I'd be like, I'm getting my weapons and I'm holding for. I'd still band with other people. I wouldn't be like, I don't know these people, screw them, and go out, find a doctor. That's just, I don't know why that's in my head so much, but it's like, it just doesn't make sense why he thought that was a good idea. But, so I guess I'd still kind of be in the middle. Like, yes, we need to honestly be a little pessimistic, because it makes you prepare a little bit better. But at the same time, don't just, don't go out on your own. Band together with other people, because there is strength in numbers. Just in a zombie apocalypse, max like 10 maybe, because people get scratched and they hide stuff, and that happens. Well, I can't say it happens in real life, but I like to think it would. Some people would be too scared to say anything, and then poof, you got a zombie outbreak in your little camp. But I've rambled on enough. Like I said, I want to know what you guys thought about this episode, though. So please comment below, let me know, and thanks for watching.